Good afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to Afternoon Express. My name is Jeannie D. Now, there is an air of excitement sweeping across the nation today as the Rugby World Cup 2015 launches in just a few hours. I cannot wait. And to celebrate this, we have RSG sports presenter Jodi Hendricks, as well as former Springbok Gcobani Bobo, to come and chat what's going to be happening in the games that we're going to be seeing a little bit later. Even if you're not a rugby fan, you just cannot help be behind our Springboks 100% of the way. And even if you're not that into rugby, if you're just really interested in seeing really good-looking men running around a field in muscle shirts, then we've got a little surprise a little bit later for you as well. But first, we're also joined by Bon Bizzle in the kitchen.
Thanks, Jeannie. Good afternoon, South Africa. I'm Bonnie Mbuli, of course, and joining me is our favourite chef and food stylist, Claire. Claire, you have won the hearts of our viewers.
Oh, have I? Oh, okay, that's nice.
And now you're about to win our rugby lovers' hearts. What are we making today?
So some sweet treats for rugby viewing. A little bit of a different kind, you know, not your everyday biltong. Totally nothing like biltong. So we're going to do a Vietnamese-style donut.
Oh, wow.
And then some sweet, crispy treats for the kids to enjoy as well during rugby. So some good sweet yumminess.
Yeah, fatten them up. Why not? And also joining us shortly in the loft is Chiano Sky, a hot young South African musician, and she'll be performing. But let's head back to the couch with Jeannie with our first guest.
Thanks, Bonnie. After retiring from professional rugby in 2011, he turned his attention to the development side of the game. He has coached rugby at the University of Johannesburg for the Varsity Cup and is a regular panellist, rugby presenter and commentator for both local and international games. Joining us on the couch is former Springbok centre, Gcobani Bobo. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for pronouncing my name right.
With absolute pleasure. Okay, so tell me, you started off your career from a really young age. Started playing rugby in King Williamstown. What was that moment for you when you decided, actually, I'm quite good at this?
Oh, well, it was quite good, in the fact that I was identified quite early, so captaining my country at under 17 level. I think that sort of could tell me or push me on in fact that I wanted to do this because, I mean, getting to travel at such an early age and then we travel to France and then seeing all those specs and all that exposure and what it actually gave you to explore yourself. So I was like, this is it, I want to get in.
Exactly. What kind of pressure did you feel as a 17-year-old having to captain? I mean, you must have had to grow up very quickly.
Yeah, I was the youngest in the whole team, so I had to take it on as a challenge. I think to me it was exciting for the fact that just being identified and becoming a leader, it sort of came part of me and I sort of embraced it. I loved the opportunity and the responsibility and I wanted to make my country proud. I think it was all the euphoria of the '95 World Cup, so that sort of got me going.
Now, I think, like most sportsmen, I think it's such a privilege and there's a lot of pride in being a Springbok. And you enjoyed a lot of, I mean, a hugely successful career. And then you moved across to England.
Yeah.
Take us through that journey.
Well, that was quite interesting because I was in Cape Town, played for the Stormers, and I wanted to change my life in a way and experience what everyone else experienced, especially professional rugby player.
Yeah.
And having a chance to go play and represent Newcastle Falcons, which is an amazing place. I know the Springboks will be playing there during the World Cup, but it was such an amazing place. I had such a good time spending time with international players. I used to play against Super Rugby. I could only say positive things about Newcastle.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about myself, being a senior player within the environment and helping young English talent.
Of course. I know I was chatting to Ashwin Willemse a while ago and he was telling me about his journey and how he went, from a hardened, gangster almost at the Cape Flats and then went to France and became fluent in French. I mean, what an experience, I think, for a young South African player to be able to travel the world and experience all of these different teams and countries. How were you accepted there, I suppose, or received there?
Yeah, it was amazing because they hold Springbok rugby and South African rugby players in high regard. So in those terms, then they expect a lot out of you. I think it was good in a way that they actually expected so much out of me, and that gave me responsibility to share my knowledge.
Yeah.
And then to be in that space where you're at the pulse of what's going on and what's developing in the world, especially in England, and having to experience other different cultures. We had a few Tongans, a few Samoans on our side, so that was something else which was quite good because it was almost almost like a multicultural port.
Do you think it was when you were in England you were already kind of planning that you wanted an early retirement and then start coaching?
Yeah, that's one of they offered us an opportunity to do our coaching levels and work within the youngsters. I got to adopt a side from North Shields and up in Newcastle, which was quite fun because now all of a sudden I thought about what I'm going to do afterwards and to get into it as soon as possible because you don't want to be a 40-year-old running around trying to figure your life out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a lot of rugby players, I think, go into, a corporate relationships that they establish when they are players.
True.
Or other kinds of businesses. And you went a completely different route, which blew me away, and I love it. It probably shows your romantic side, but also hugely intellectual with your book.
Yeah, exactly as you mentioned it. I'll pick it up.
You
with
just happened to bring it with
silly
you.
plug. What is all about? I mean, for me, it was about talking about rugby in a space where I enjoyed it. It was about creating something that all different genres, genders, and all people, all ages can relate to it. I mean, there's lots of, I could say, challenges that a professional sports person gets, and having a storyline and a fictional line where you can actually take on to those and actually express it. I mean, me and Alvis Jack, who predominantly wrote half of the book, but we did create the plots, scenarios and everything, and we thought that it'd be good to actually have a light-hearted, fun and an exciting tale.
Absolutely. Is this, I mean, obviously it's a fictional novel,
Yeah.
but what would young boys who want to become rugby players learn from it?
I think the most important thing is just to know about the challenges that they face. I mean, traveling as a young man, going overseas and having all of this thrown at you, and then having to create those bonds and making people work together for a common cause. And then from that, you can get to see how people develop and become better people, how rugby is run, and the challenges that the players get. So,
wow, I'm definitely going to have a read of this as well, and so should you. The Rise of the Dagger. Thank you so much for bringing this with. Now, while we've still got time.
Pleasure.
Okay, Rugby World Cup about to start.
Sure.
How are our Boks looking?
Exciting at the moment, I guess. I guess everyone has got this unknown because we had so many senior players who were injured, who haven't had the game time.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that talk. But then with that, that's quite an exciting time because now they don't know what to expect for themselves.
Exactly.
But what they've been really focused on is in terms of their processes and how they want to go about it. And I think always South African teams backs against the wall will normally come up trumps because in that way we can focus on ourselves. I think for them, the challenge of being a team that could win the World Cup and for the third time, I think that's something that excites them. I think that's their ambitions. And we know what Tyler Khmer has done with the sides. The Blue Bulls were quite dominant in the Super Rugby because of what he put in plan. Yeah. And I think they do have those plans in process now and they want to execute them in England.
Honestly speaking, just between you and me though,
Sure.
Who's your favourite to win the World Cup?
The Boks. I can't look past us because in the way, we're the only team that I think can unsettle the All Blacks by the way that we play and the passion and the respect that the All Blacks give to us. And we do have an opportunity.
I hope you are right. Thank you so much for coming through and chatting to us.
Most definitely.
Now, don't go anywhere. After the break, I make us some donuts and we chat to sports presenter Jodi Hendricks. We'll be right back.
Any occasion, anytime. Nobody makes better tea than you and 5 Roses.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, where I'm literally about to go nuts for the donuts that we're going to be making. Claire, how do we get started?
So we've got our flour here in our mixer. What we're going to do is just really add all of our ingredients into the bowl. So you're going to pass those all over to me. So
let's keep it simple, why don't we?
Very simple. So
okay,
let's start with the dry ingredients. So we've got our sugar.
Okay.
So effectively, as donuts go, this is quite an enriched dough. So it's not your typical bread dough where it's just flour, water, yeast, and salt.
Okay.
We're adding sugar, so it's going to be sweeter, and then butter and eggs. So it's quite a rich, full of flavor type of dough.
But are these donuts going to be like those very light, fluffy ones that kind of melt in your mouth when you bite into them? Not those hard, chewy?
Very light, bready kind of donuts. Not your cake donuts, so not quite soft and light like a cake donut would be, but definitely light and fluffy like bread, white bread sort of scenario.
Now, what would you like? Your eggs, yeast, or I'm assuming that's butter?
Yes, we're going to go for the butter. Let's pop that in here. We can slowly start this going over here, and then goes our butter. And then we can pop in our eggs. So pretty much just in all your wet ingredients. And lastly, we're going to add the yeast mixture, which you've just had a little bit of sugar, water, and yeast. And then that just pops up, literally
It's
bubbles
not
up.
even moving, so it's going to be
Bubbles
There you
up.
go.
And that's, you're just starting the development of the yeast. And just really dispersing the yeast amongst the water and dissolving it so that it makes for an easy mixture. So then that goes in here.
There you go.
This all counts. This is all really important to get those
No
donuts
wastage.
nice and fluffy.
Right.
So the cool thing about these donuts, what's different about these donuts, is that we're making Vietnamese coffee-inspired donuts. So typically a Vietnamese coffee is condensed milk, coffee, and then you mix it up. That's the glaze for these donuts. It's going to be so good.
Wow.
And now, I always say when it comes to bread making, measure your water out as per the recipe, but don't just dunk it all in there. Do
Yeah.
it step by step because the
Yeah.
climate, the weather, everything is going
And
to
there I can
change.
see there's still yeast on the bowl, so you've
Yeah.
got to get
Go for it.
everything in.
So be mindful of the fact that the water does vary according to the day, the humidity in the air, maybe today you actually
is
measured out a little bit
fascinating.
more flour than normal if you're just using cup measures as opposed to grammage.
Yes.
Just do it step by step. You can see it slowly coming together there.
Yeah.
And also, the flour takes on the water quite slowly. So you pour it and you think, oh no, look, it still looks quite floury. Dunk some more. No. You can see how it's already come together as a ball and you kind of want to leave it as that.
So remember, if you want to also make donuts, remember to visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, for our recipe and our shopping list. Claire, it almost looks like it's
So
done.
about 10 minutes of kneading until it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to pop it into a nicely greased bowl so it doesn't stick. And then it doubles in size and it gets all nice and soft and squishy and you know you're ready to go. So from that, let's move over to our bag of tricks on the right here. We've already rolled it out to roughly about 1.5 centimeters thickness. You want nice fluffy ones. Then just a cookie cutter, cut the round. Another smaller cookie cutter, cut the donut holes out. Don't waste the donut holes. You can also fry those up. Those are delicious. Cinnamon sugar or some of the glaze, whatever you want. They're going to be so good. And then these have to prove again. So these have proved. And then this goes straight into our oil. We've already checked that the oil is roughly about 160 to 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And then this goes in here, and just be careful to, let's turn that, there we go, it's gonna start sizzling and bubbling over there. And be careful to obviously not let the kids do this, you do this on your own, because it does get a bit splashy and bubbly and whatnot. So then those are gonna bubble away until they're nice and golden brown. And we end up with these. We've got a whole lot of magic happening here today. On here.
So good.
So those
I
are the
love
donuts. And we've just got some melted butter here. Now this is the glaze. This is the Vietnamese coffee that's coming in here. So we've got some butter. Then we're going to add some of the coffee. So just to help sort of melt and dissolve the coffee, we're just going to use a little bit of hot water. And the hot water as well just sort of loosens up the glaze. So it's quite helpful. We're not just adding water to our glaze and it's going to be. So we're just dissolving that coffee there. Nice and strong. So this is your typical Vietnamese coffee. You've got the condensed milk at the bottom, nice strong brewed coffee on top, and you just stir that up and it gets all white and milky and sweet, sweet, sweet.
Lovely.
And this beautiful drink here inspired my donut. So a very typical donut recipe. We're using the Vietnamese coffee glaze to make the...
Okay, so that sweetness from the coffee you're then going to add onto your donuts.
So then in goes our coffee there. Just going to whisk that up, and then the condensed milk, as per the drink, into our glaze, and that is going to be pure decadence. As glazes go, this is delicious, absolutely delicious.
And what's lovely about a coffee glaze, I suppose, is that it makes it less childlike. You wouldn't put your normal decorations on, a normal treats on for a child's birthday party, but this is nice for a more mature audience.
Yeah, it's definitely a slightly grown-up donut.
Yes.
And now so the donuts are a little bit warm. You want to keep them warm, and you just dunk them in.
I want to dunk a donut.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah.
So if it gets a little bit too liquid like this, then you just add a little bit more condensed milk and you'll be fine. And just keep dunking. And then because the donuts are slightly warm, they're going to sort of absorb that glaze. And you can actually, if you want to, double glaze it. Go for it again.
This is fantastic. I am in heaven. So while I keep on dunking these donuts, Bonnie is standing by on the couch with our next guest.
Thank you, Jeannie. He's living the dream of presenting on radio and television, which started only when he was 14. Earlier this year, he was named one of the top 200 young South Africans for 2015. Joining us on the couch to give us some insight into the World Cup is RSG sports presenter Jodi Hendricks. Welcome to the Loft, Jody.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you. I struggled to say, because I bray, so I have to say RSG. So I went to RSG.
RSG, it's quite easy.
Well, you have been counted among 200 young, most influential people in South Africa 2015. How does that feel? What an honor.
It feels, I must be honest with you, it feels awesome. I only got word of it a couple of months ago when I was contacted by the organizers, and they said that I've been nominated and shortlisted. I made the list, and I didn't know how big it was until I saw who some of the past winners were. And here we're talking people like Brian O'Banner, Trevor Noah. So yeah, it's quite big.
Wow, why do you think you made the cut? Not that you didn't deserve it.
I honestly don't know. All that I can say is, from a career perspective, I really work hard and I have a passion for what I do, and I think it paid off at the end.
Yeah. How would you like to build on this achievement and contribute to South Africa's future?
Well, definitely by being a role model. It might sound like a cliche, but definitely I think the youth plays an important part in the making of South Africa, and if we can, inspire them to do great things, I think the way for this country is only forward. For me personally, I want to use it as a stepping stone. There's still a couple of career dreams that I have that I would like to achieve in the next year.
Tell us some of them.
Well, online media is quite big at the moment, so I want to go that route. Maybe next year start my own website.
Yeah.
A news and lifestyle website. So that's the immediate goal. And in the future, definitely move into primetime radio.
Awesome. What are some of the challenges and the joys of working as a sports presenter and radio producer? All of that.
Well, first of all, there are days when there's no news happening. So you have to create news and you have to be very creative in the way that you go about doing that. And I also think, for me, producing and presenting is two very different dynamics.
Yes.
So when I'm wearing my producer's hat, I have to think a certain way. When I'm wearing my presenter's hat, I have to think another way.
But you do it all in a day's work, so well done to you.
I do.
So how will you be involved in the Rugby World Cup this year?
Well, RSG will be broadcasting most of the Rugby World Cup matches, and I'll be there's 48 matches, and I'll be reporting and doing commentary on 30 of those 48 matches, and also be doing a couple of TV appearances like I'm doing with you now.
Right.
So the next couple of weeks is going to be quite hectic for me.
So how are our Bokke looking? Have they dotted their I's and crossed their T's?
Well, there was a lot of criticism against the initial 31 players that our coach Heineke Meyer picked, but I think the players have been selected now. They've got a duty. I think they understand the importance of bringing back a Rugby World Cup to South Africa for the third time. I'm sure you remember we did it in 1995 with that iconic moment when former President Nelson Mandela handed the trophy to Francois Pienaar, and then in 2007 under the captaincy of John Smith. And I think 2015 we've got a strong team. I'm a bit worried about certain areas of the team, but I think our match 23 should be able to beat any team in the world.
Yeah. What do you think of the squad, and why do you think it was met with such controversy?
Well, there was a lot of players that people thought they didn't deserve to be there or didn't belong there. But I think Heineke Meyer, as a coach, he's been coaching for the past 20 years. What you and I know about rugby, he probably forgets in a day. And I think...
Which is 0.
Yeah, and for me 1.5. So.
Okay.
So I think, if people select a team, if we ask 10 people to select a team, they each will select a different team, and he had to select a team that he thought will bring back the trophy, and it's a lot of pressure. I don't think people know the pressure that goes with being a national Springbok coach, because our Springboks are loved so much. A lot of pressure is on him for him to perform, and also there's a lot of provincialism in South African rugby. The Sharks and the Bulls, so you have to pick your combination. So various factors, but I'm very happy with the 31 players that was picked, and I think our match 23 will probably be one of the strongest at the World Cup.
Yeah. So who are the big teams to look out for this year, and who are the star players?
Well, first of all, England, the Rugby World Cup's taking place in England, and a few games in Wales as well. So I think England is going to be a very difficult team to beat. Obviously, the defending champions, the feared All Blacks, the Richie McCaw, Dan Carter, I'm sure they'd want to leave a legacy. I read earlier this week that Richie McCaw said the reason why he extended his career this far is to become the first captain to win back-to-back Rugby World Cups. I think Australia, they've struggled a bit in the last couple of years, but came out of nowhere in 2015 and they won the Rugby Championships and they beat South Africa as well. So all of a sudden they're a factor as well. But my top 4 teams I think will probably make it into the semis would be the Bokke, would be the All Blacks, England and Australia.
Yeah, go Bokke.
Go Bokke.
And who are your favourite players?
Well, I think Dwayne Vermeulen, the number 8 from South Africa, was last year the South African Rugby Player of the Year. If he comes, he had an injury earlier this year, but if he plays at 90% the way he did last year, he's going to make it very tough for our opponents. And Brian Abana, I'm sure he'd want to beat the Jonah Lomus record. They equal on the amount of tries that they both have at the moment, and I'm sure he'd want to make that record his own.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
After the break, we speak to pop sensation Chiano Sky and make sure you enter our Go Green SMS competition. All the details on this week's question are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Remember, there are only a few short weeks until we choose a winner for the ultimate grand prize. Take a look at this.
The Afternoon Express team is going green. Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. until September as we bring you the most innovative trends in sustainable fashion, food, decor and design, as well as handy tips to help you reduce your carbon footprint.
Answer our Go Green question every Tuesday and stand a chance to win a R1,000 Woolies gift card every week.
Plus, simply by entering, you also go into the big draw for the ultimate grand prize worth over R500,000.
Including a dream sustainable kitchen makeover from Cordev, fitted with Bosch appliances with R300,000. Also, up to R250,000 worth of home upgrades so you can live off the grid. Plus, food and homeware from Woolworths valued at R75,000. And a R25,000 towards a school of your choice with My School.
So go big, go green with Afternoon Express every Tuesday at 4 p.m. to win these amazing prizes.
Woolies and I collaborating to raise 100 million rand through the My School program. Are you with us?
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, she burst onto the music scene with hit single Walking Away from her debut album Hungry, and in 2013 was nominated for 5 SAMA Awards. Since then, she has steadily risen to stardom with her seductive voice and soulful, jazzy sounds. Joining us in the loft is Chiano Sky.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
So good in you. Chiano, if anyone asks me, you know what it's like? People always say, oh, what's that person like? And oh, you've interviewed this person. Whenever anyone asks what's Chiano Sky like, the first thing I say is she's just ridiculously sexy that you can't help but kind of stare at you.
Snake.
Take me through, I mean, you are a true artist, a true performer, because your sound to your look, everything always seems as if it's very well thought out.
Yes. Well, you know what I mean? I like to be involved in everything. You know, I love fashion, I love music, and also when it comes down to the videos and the images that I put out there of myself, I do want to kind of have fun with it and, you know, pull out my own little Lady Gaga stuff and essays.
So much harder than Gaga.
You know, and I think like being kind of sensual and sexy is like embedded in my character, also from the jazz influences that I've grown up with and stuff. So, yes, I mean, I feel like I'm just being myself, you know.
For sure. I mean, I remember you from when you first burst onto the scene, and your sound and your maturity, I suppose, in writing certainly does belie your age. You've got that whole 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, just vintage pin-up going through your sound.
Is it the red lips?
And the red hair. And where does your influence for your writing style come from?
Growing up, you know, I've always loved, even till now, I mean, you won't find Katy Perry on my iPod or, you know, I've always been a big fan of like Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye and Tina Marie and like all those old school divas, those
Ella
women.
Fitzgerald.
Yes, you know, and even also like Amy Winehouse was also influenced me a lot. And I mean, the only pop princess I admired so much was Kylie Minogue. She just blew me away because she was just so cute and sexy, and I just love her. So I've always been an old soul and kind of picking up, learning from their techniques, and also just, I love how with so much, they sang with so much ease back then, you know what I mean, and dance with so much ease, and because I just genuinely loved what they were doing up there, and also the freedom to kind of do it how they wanted to. You know, there weren't so many limitations as I feel like there is now in music, you know, because things are constantly changing and there's new trends constantly, you know what I mean? And you gotta kind of like work it through but still be yourself, and
What's your process? I mean, do you think of the melody first in your head or the lyrics, or how does it work for you?
It actually works quite different with every song. Sometimes you do come up with these cool lyrics, and then you quickly just write it down, and then other times, you know, your producer comes up with an instrumental, and then you write to the instrumental, or it's like you collaboration kind of thing when they're working on the instrumental and you're singing, because as they're going on the keys, you're getting more inspired and you're writing down and stuff. So it kind of varies.
So speaking about being inspired and collaboration, you recently flew to London to go and see Pharrell Williams. Well, tell me about that. I thought he would have come back as your boyfriend.
I know. I think we were all fighting for him there. You know, obviously, it was an amazing experience, an amazing campaign, obviously, with Woolworths. And it's me, Nandi, Pearl, Minnie, and obviously Pharrell, and we're all just like creating awareness for sustainability in like a cool 21st century kind of way, you know, and also showing that, you know, you can be fashionable and also save the planet at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's the only way to be fashionable nowadays.
You know, so the experience is crazy. I mean, it's just a whole different world there, you know, when you're in that space and the way they handle things, and you're just, you know, trying to be cool, but yourself, but mainly cool, you know.
Now, you're going to be performing a little bit later, and you're going to be performing a track off your album Inferno.
Yes.
Can we just discuss your album cover?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I know.
Not much.
I know it would be. I knew it was going to be a little crazy and surprise Africa, but it's actually just glitter. I've just drenched only in glitter. It's the Drenched in Glitter series, because I think the album is a lot of, you know, late 60s, early 70s, that disco funk era. And I really wanted to like just, you know, only be in glitter to kind of push that whole thing, and just also not to have like a brand to me either, you know, not have a specific look out there. So it's also left, you know, but also I'm young and I should have fun, and I need to like...
Absolutely, I love that.
Go a little crazy, you know.
Definitely. It must have been a nightmare to wash off though. But anyway, Chiano Sky is going to be performing with us a little bit later. Cannot wait to see that. But for now, we've got Bonnie in the kitchen.
Thank you, Jeannie. From the try line to the kitchen, today we're whipping up a dessert that will have your guests drooling on the big game night. They'll be so busy chomping these little treats down, they might even forget that the rugby's on. Good news for girlfriends.
Good news.
Yeah. Okay, Claire, how do we begin? What do we do?
Well, we've got a treat for the whole family here, so mom, dad, brother, sister, kids, everyone is going to enjoy this one. Nice, sweet one to enjoy while the game's on. Awesome. So we've just got our pan going. Let's just crank it up a little bit there. And we're going to pop in our butter. So this is you know, the Rice Krispie treat you know and love from your childhood.
I love Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
I love them.
It was actually the first thing I ever made. So this is a trip down memory lane for me right here. Okay, so our butter's melting down nicely. We're going to add now our Lindt Swiss Classic white chocolate into there. If you want to just break that up, and we're going to pop that into here. So the theory with melting chocolate is most of the time you want to double boil it like this, like we've done here for later. But because we've got a low heat and we do have some more liquid in the pot, it's not going to instantly hit that hot pan and seize. So we're okay. So we're sort of creating a buffer, if you will, for the chocolate with the butter.
Okay.
So the chocolate, we're just going to get to, slowly it'll just start to melt and just get all nice and oozy and delicious
and gooey and yummy.
And then as this, I'm just going to turn the heat down even more. As this starts to melt, then we add in our little mini marshmallows. So the reason I've chosen the mini marshmallows is because it just melts faster.
Right,
you can use the big ones. Even if you use the big ones, just use some clean scissors, snip them into smaller pieces. If you can't find the mini ones. Melts quicker and makes your life a whole lot easier.
And of course, pop over to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, for the full recipe and shopping list.
Okay, this chocolate does take a little bit of time to melt, so we'll just get that going. You can
Almost
see it's
done.
slowly starting to mix up and everything kind of evenly incorporates.
Yeah.
You want that to be nicely, like I said, incorporated before you add the marshmallows, because otherwise you're going to get little sort of chunky bits of the chocolate.
Oh, right.
Okay, so now let's go for the marshmallows. That's looking good there.
Marshmallows. This is so
And you
much
can literally
fun.
just dunk them all in there. And obviously you get, you know, typically in a pack of mini marshmallows, you get the pink and the white ones.
That's so
we
exciting.
made some and we used the pink ones. Do you love it?
Yeah. had to.
Okay, so now we're just going to let this melt. It takes a little bit of time, so we're just going to melt that up.
So are you a rugby fan?
Ooh, massive rugby fan. It's huge. So my dad obviously only has three, well, not obviously, but my dad has three daughters, so myself and my two sisters, no sons. So someone had to get up at 3 a.m. when it was an Australian game, and it was me.
And it was
I did
you.
it. So I love rugby.
So your rugby knowledge is on point.
Yeah, I'm not going to start doing a general knowledge quiz here or anything, but
Right.
I love watching it. It's a big fan.
My rugby knowledge goes as far as how good looking the players are, and which one is my favourite.
And they're typically not so good looking.
Well, I beg to differ.
Okay, so this is nice and
You
melted.
can't say stuff like that because you're engaged now.
I know. Okay, so everything's melted. Marshmallow's melted, chocolate's melted, butter's melted, and it's nice, one big gloopy mix. And in goes the Rice Krispies.
Gloopy mix.
So turn off the heat.
Ooh.
And a bit of a bang there.
Yeah.
And we're just going to mix it up nicely. The pot is a little bit warm now, so I'm going to just hold on here and just mix and mix and mix and mix. Just coating those Rice Krispies evenly with that marshmallow mixture, just so that you're creating a glue effectively.
Yeah.
You just want to glue all those pieces together and
A glue of sugar happiness.
and glue sugar happens. Now we're going to pop over here to our greased dish.
Right.
And we're just going to flop that out onto the tray. And then we're just going to flatten it down to create our base, which we can cut our rugby inspired pieces with our cookie cutter. So obviously it's not very common to have one of these at home.
Right, yeah, of course.
But you know, and our bag of tricks here,
Well,
we
you
do.
never know what's lurking in my son's toy box. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So this is actually a football-looking cookie
it's
cutter,
still a rugby
but it's
ball
still the
shape.
shape. So
Yeah.
we're going for the shape, which we've cut out here using, like I said, our pink marshmallows earlier. So that we're just going to leave. You'll just spread that out evenly and then punch out the pieces.
Yeah.
So
okay, awesome.
what we've done here now is use the pink ones, like I just said, and cut out our pieces. And on the other side is the shape which we used for that. So we're just going to hide
Right.
that. No one needs to know that it's a football. It's a rugby ball for all intents and purposes.
All intents and purposes.
And now just to finish it off with some more chocolate. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it. I actually just can't believe the sugar decadence that's going down
I
here.
know, it's quite delicious.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to brush some of that white chocolate on there. I'm going to leave you
Okay.
to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then we're going to finish it off with more chocolate.
More chocolate.
So we've got the Lindt Creation Divine Hazelnut, which is going to make a stunning nuttiness on the top of this Rice Krispie treat.
Wow.
All we're going to do is just grate a little bit on top. So take a piece of the chocolate, any sort of grater. What I've got here is a microplane, so it just does fine little grates. And you just grate it over. So the white chocolate again is like a glue that's going to stick down the grated hazelnut, and it's going to look really cool and yummy.
It's gonna look amazing.
So it doesn't quite look like a rugby ball, I'll admit it. It's got the shape, so it like I said, inspired by the rugby, but it just tastes so sweet and delicious. And
well, I think this is
everyone's
as
gonna be
rugby
happy.
ball as you're gonna get it, actually.
Yeah, you got to switch up your biltong snacks a little bit, hey?
Yeah, of course.
And that's kind of it. Then we just finish these off.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I hope you got all that. And if you don't impress people with your rugby knowledge, you'll certainly blow them away with your dessert making skills. So today we want to give one lucky viewer a Lindt Creation hamper filled with enough divine hazelnut and chocolate fondant to last you until the end of the year. Simply tweet us at Afternoon Chat, #Lindt, and let us know which creation you'll be sinking your teeth into this weekend. Check out our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, for T's and C's. We'll be right back. Don't touch that remote.
Surrender to indulgence. Which will you give into first? Creation from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Well, Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, here on Afternoon Express, we've been sharing our daily Shell footsie tips to get your feet summer ready and photo perfect to win that fabulous island vacation. Today's tip is for toes, so your pedi is as on trend as your wardrobe this season. Now, pedicure trends change as frequently as manicure trends, so keep up to date on Instagram to check what colour the trendsetters are wearing on their toes. We logged on to get the scoop on the latest shades for spring-summer.
So what are you wearing this summer?
Well, you know what I always do? I try and change it up. Winter, I always go darker.
Okay.
And summer, I always try and go for great colours.
But
you know,
colour.
gone are the day that pedi was a language and Manny was the guy that used to fix your car. It's now the most important thing ever, getting ready for the new season, because bad nails and bad toes.
I know. And also, I mean, I spent the whole of winter kind of like squeezing my toes into like little pointy heels. So they really need some attention.
Yeah.
But I see some amazing colours, first from Song of Style.
Yes, Ami Song, of course.
Yes.
She is huge online at the moment, and she's absolutely magnificent. She's got amazing colours. She says orange, white, and a baby blue are
I like
big,
the idea
for
of
the
white.
season. I love white. I
Yeah.
often do a white. Or I go very nude on my fingers, and then I go super bright on my toes.
Right.
You can see you've gone magenta pink on your toes.
I've gone,
which is
I
amazing.
don't know what was going on. Please don't do a close-up of my feet. Thanks.
Hysterical.
But the whole barely there look is in as well this
Yeah.
summer, apparently.
But you know what you've just said now? Nobody loves their feet.
No, nobody does.
But I suppose, like, you know, Rachel Zoe is another blogger and stylist who's always putting up what she thinks.
Yeah.
Her thing was paint your colours of your toes the colours of the season, so that you can always go back. So there's cobalt blue, there's yellow. Again, we're seeing, you know, peaches and whites and corals.
Seafoam green.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah,
I
that
love
sounds exciting.
But also, do you think
messing
you
with
can
that.
still colour block? So if you're going with a yellow, do you think you can still do a cobalt blue, you know, toe?
I think so. I mean, the other day I was at the salon getting my nails done, and a girl was doing mustard yellow and glitter, blue glitter, and then alternating like that. And it actually looked
like
so
that
pretty.
as
I wouldn't
well.
have thought of that, but it looked really, really pretty. So glitter seems to be popping this
Glitter's
summer.
huge. I didn't, and nail art I think is still pretty in.
Yes.
But I didn't always like to do a different colour on my nails to my toes.
You like to match it up.
Yeah, but now I'm going...
Now you're over it.
Because I love nudes, so that's the thing. But a nude on the toe doesn't always look too amazing.
No, it doesn't
I want
always
colour
look...
on the toe.
Yeah, I mean, and also I try to have a popping colour on my toes, but I don't want to attract attention to my toes. So that's my dichotomy right there.
But the good thing is, after you've had winter feet, where you've had the opportunity to wear socks and to be able to... in the old days, they used to say, put Vaseline on your feet and then put socks on them and sleep like that.
Sleep like that.
For soft feet in the morning.
Yeah. I wonder if it works. Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it. I've got naturally soft feet. I woke up like this.
Oh, that's not what I heard, girl.
No, but it is really important to look after your feet. Now, you know the trends to try this season. Don't miss the chance to win the ultimate vacation for two to gorgeous Reunion Island. All you need to do to enter is first make sure your feet are ready for their moment in the spotlight with a Shell Velvet Smooth electronic foot file. Then snap a footsie, which is a selfie of your feet looking velvet smooth, and enter via Twitter or Facebook using the hashtags #footsie, #Afternoon Express, and winning that island holiday that you've been dreaming of couldn't be easier. T's and C's apply, so please visit the Afternoon Express website for details.
From wild nature to clear blue lagoons, Reunion Island offers a traveller a unique adventure, exploring a diversity of landscapes and cultures in one exceptional environment. Classified as a World Heritage Site, Reunion Island's stunning landscape allows you to travel from a volcanic desert into a tropical forest, all in a day. Enjoying the harmony of the island, you can experience a variety of cultures and tastes, from Asian cuisine to Creole markets. Reunion is paradise found. To enter, take a snap of your feet looking velvet smooth and enter via Twitter or Facebook using the hashtags Footsie and Afternoon Express.
Shell Velvet Smooth Electronic Foot File. Perfectly smooth skin after one use.
Now, with only a few hours left till kickoff of the 2015 Rugby World Cup, we decided that it's of the utmost importance that we analyse the most significant aspect of the game. who is the sexiest player at this year's tournament. And we've put together a list of 10 favourites because, let's be honest, I mean, that's why we watch rugby in the first place. And it's all about the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's see. Let's start off with an All Blacks player because... that thing, the haka, Aaron Smith. Hello, Aaron Smith.
Hi, Aaron.
An interesting little bit of information about Aaron is that he actually used to be a hairdresser, and they decided that, no, that was him. Chopping hair wasn't for him. He wanted to go and tackle men instead. Which I totally get.
Oh, yeah. No, but you're right, because he's a stylist of the team, so he helps the boys still to today with their
cool.
No
he's a makeup tips and all of that. He still sorts out their hair, so at least
just you to say that about the All Blacks. Okay, we've got a hot South African player, the Beast. He's unfortunately married though, but the Beast is super hot. You know who else is actually also ridiculously hot in the South African squad is Damian Islander.
Damian Islander seems to pop up every time people talk about sexiness in the rugby team.
I know.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't know from. I just think he's a great rugby player.
I'm planning on changing his name to Damien D.
Oh.
Or Jeannie D. Islander. How's that thing?
Yeah, no.
Did you play with him?
Yeah, he was still a junior back in those days, but he's one of those exciting players. I think the way that he expresses himself with his skills, I guess that's how he's viewed by people, and he's an exciting attacking player.
Yeah, he is quite an attacking player.
Yes.
Next up, from England, we have Ben Foden. And Ben is also a professional model. And actually enough, he's married to, I think it's Anna Foden.
Yeah, pop star.
Pop star, yeah, shame. I'm not a huge England rugby team fan, though. Okay, another All Blacks player that we're featuring today, Dan Carter. So serious.
But he just doesn't age, eh?
He doesn't age. He's a really nice guy and unfortunately married. He's married to a pro hockey player. I thought she was a horse show jumper as well.
Yeah, he's well conditioned.
Okay, from Australia, and funny enough, they don't have my favourite Australian here. This is David Pocock, and he's the only ginger on the list. Funny enough,
Go ginger.
We had to be fair. We had to get a ginger on the list, but this one is a very cute ginger.
Yeah, it's a Zimbo,
nice and
so a bit of African influence within himself. So
yeah,
good lad, good guy.
Then we've got a South African, Eben Etzebeth, and. Between grade 8... Oh, wait, that's me in a bikini. Okay, so between grade 8 and grade 11, Eben Etzebeth grew 0.5 meter in height and gained 50 kilograms of muscle. He is one massive man.
I watched this episode.
Tell us about the change rooms.
Change rooms are quite open. People feel comfortable within this space. And I guess you got loads of guys in there, but we have to be discreet in a certain way.
Of course.
We have female
It's not like we're on live TV or anything. And then, of course, from Wales, who probably has such a beautiful accent, we have Lee Halfpenny. And he's proof that hobbits can be cute too.
Oh, he's got those blue eyes, hey?
He reminds me actually of, who's the South African one? Lambie.
Yeah. Pat Lambie is one of those players. Sadly for him, he's going to miss out on the World Cup. He got injured just before and then last warm-up game. So,
what a pity.
Godspeed for him, because he was going to be the key influential guy. He kicks everything and he's a decent rugby player.
Why are they getting injured so much now? Is it because the game is so much faster?
It's just one of those things. It just comes with the territory. I mean, it's a physical game and people just trying to crash into each other. So it's a car crash every time.
Now, my ultimate player, well, not really the ultimate, but Richie McCaw. He does extreme sports on the side. He's just an extreme man. He's the ultimate man's man.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, pilot and all of that. And
he's always got a cut or a nick or a bruise or something on him.
It's just amazing the way that he's just kept on going at it and still at the highest level. Richie, until probably after this World Cup, they probably unite him and call Sir Richie McCaw.
What? You joking? Is
he
single?
He's married.
Okay. Now, someone who, I think we've got a profile, another South African player. He's one of my absolute favourite gentlemen, Siya Kolisi. What a man.
The big bear.
Gee, what a beautiful heart.
No, he's amazing. I mean, the stuff that he does for his family, for what he has done with his siblings, stays with his siblings, and looking after 3 kids at the age of about 24, just shows you what kind of character he is.
Siya Kolisi, I think, definitely winning our ultimate man of the match, man of the World Cup overall, I reckon. Now, don't go away from serious rugby hotties. We've got Chiano Sky, who's going to be performing live in our loft after this.
Express yourself.
Fresh Pack. Goodness comes naturally.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now make sure you catch Winner Home this evening at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3. It's the Lounge Challenge, and drama breaks out as one of the contestants gets sick. But with 2 people scheduled to go home this week, what does this mean for the elimination time? It's going to be intense, so you don't want to miss out. But for now, the gorgeous Chiano Sky. Take it away, darling.
Why you driving me crazy? My head is spinning round in a loop. All these men wanna catch me, thinking that it's easy to do. Going forward, going back, the hell you doing next? Ain't none of my business. Going forward, going back, I will not be calling back. You ain't on my wish list. Baby, I don't think you care. Baby, I don't want you near. Why you trying to frustrate me? Pretending that you'll ever be mine. I just need you to educate me. Teach me about that look in your eye. Come on. Going forward, going back. Who the hell you doing next? Ain't none of my business. Going forward, going back. Blowing kisses to my back. I'm under your misses, baby. I don't think you care. Baby, I don't want you near. 'Cause the love's gone and my heart's grown. Bigger than you can handle. And I won't wait, even hesitate. 'Cause I know where I'm going. 'Cause the love's gone and my heart's grown. Bigger than you can handle. And I won't wait, even hesitate. 'Cause I know where I'm going. Baby, I don't think you care. Baby, I don't want you near. Baby, I don't think you care. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want you near. Baby, I don't think you care. No, baby, I don't want you near.
You see what I mean when I said basically the sexiest thing on 2 legs?
Wow. Okay.
Amazing.
I need to breathe.
Absolutely gorgeous. How do you feel about these donuts?
Delicious.
Usually Danilo serves, but I'll be the honest. I'll do the honest
Just
today.
grab one.
Just grab one.
Use your fingers, it doesn't matter. They're sticky and delicious.
Cheers.
They Vietnamese coffee. Claire and I slaved in the kitchen all day making them.
One for me.
Yeah, me too. How yummy.
Fantastic.
Enjoy.
Delicious.
Ooh. Make sure you join us again on Monday for Afternoon Express. In our first 15, that's hashtag first 15, we speak with veteran radio presenter Mark Pilgrim, and in the kitchen we make a delicious pot of roast chicken. But anyway, thank you so much for coming through today and for being on the show. And thank you so much for these delicious donuts. And thank you from all of us. Until next week.
Goodbye.
See you on Afternoon Express. Happy eating. Ciao.
Next week on Afternoon Express, heart attack survivor and radio personality Mark Pilgrim chats about his journey. Some of South Africa's top cultural performers join us for Heritage Day, and we celebrate our 100th episode in style.
Another feel-good production.